is it? It's time to target your pronunciation.
Hi, welcome to More Than Language. Today is the first day of a new series called Targeting Pronunciation. There will be 10 targets that we focus on, and today is the very first target. Our first target is stressing syllables. English is a melodic language. That means there's melody. In American English, we have stressed and unstressed syllables as part of our words. What does that mean? That means that when you say a word, one part of it gets more attention than the other part. That part of it is either louder, higher, or stretched out. And then the other part is not emphasized or is unstressed. Here's some examples. Look at the desert. 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 The first part is where it's stressed. Now there's a word that is very similar, but we stress a different part of that word. Look at the dessert. Dessert. Cupcakes, my favorite. Here's some more examples. He gave me a message. He gave me a message. Now, there's another word that looks very similar. Notice the vowels a little different, but it does look very similar, but we stress the other part of it. He gave me a massage. Massage. The sage is stressed. It's louder, it's stronger, and we pronounce it for a longer amount of time. Oh, my favorite. my favorite. Ice cream. Ice cream. Ice cream. Ice cream. Ice cream for ice cream. Each of those are some examples of stressed syllables and unstressed syllables. Well, there's two patterns that I'm going to be discussing with you today. But before we do that, I'd like to remind you of when you first started learning English and your teacher was teaching you about syllables. When I was learning, or when I was teaching years ago, what we would do is we would clap for each part of the word. Instead of clapping, because that'll get a little loud in here, let's just tap, okay? So I'm going to give you some words, and we'll tap. We'll tap for each syllable that's in the word. Okay. Here we go. Table. 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 You tap 2 times, right? Number. Number. How many times? Number. 2 times, right? Committee. 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 That's 3 times. One more. Okay. Estimating. Estimating. How many? Estimating. Estimating. That would be 4. All right. So now let's talk about 2-syllable words. There are two patterns for two-syllable words. You'll notice on the board, I have a long black line and then a dot. The long black line is where you have your stressed syllable, and the little dot is the unstressed syllable. So with your stressed syllable, you stretch out the sound, just like what we did with D, oh, you can't see, dessert, dessert. Oh, excuse me, not dessert. Sorry guys, I made a mistake. Dessert, dessert. Dessert, dessert. I got ahead of myself. The next one, I must be hungry. Look at the dessert, dessert, dessert. This one, dessert, you stress the second half of the word, dessert. Okay. I'd like to share with you some different words. What we're going to do is you will tap as I point and slide. Slide and point. Pencil, pencil. Pencil, pencil. Dozen, dozen. Does, dozen. Sofa, sofa. Sofa, sofa. The last one is party, 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 party. Learning syllables is like a party. Now, this is where your voice stays at the same volume. The second pattern is where your voice drops down. Some examples of this pattern are prepare. Notice the emphasis is on the back end of the word. Prepare. Pair gets more emphasis. So prepare. And my voice drops. Prepare. A point. A point. A point. A point. Receive. 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 Here's a tip. When you're trying to decide which part of the word receives the stress, 90% of all nouns, it's the first part that is stressed. This is in two-syllable words. In verbs, 60% of the second half of the syllable, the second half of the word is your stressed syllable. Hopefully, this has been a help to you and you can go out and practice some of the stressed and unstressed syllables. And by knowing these tips and nuances, when you are speaking, you can practice improving your pronunciation. One more before we do our review. There are some words that are spelled the same, but they're pronounced completely different. I'd like to share some of those with you. permit, permit. You need a permit to park here. The same spelling, but different emphasis. Please permit me to park here. Please permit me to park here. The next one. That sounds like an insult. Insult. Don't insult the visitors. Don't insult the visitors. So one is a noun and the other is a verb. Same spelling. They sell produce at the market. They sell produce at the market. Produce. Cars produce a lot of smoke. Cars produce a lot of smoke. Again, produce is a noun. Produce is a verb. Maybe it's a little confusing, but with practice you'll get it. They negotiated a contract. Contract. You must contract when you exercise. Your muscles contract when you exercise. He made a lot of progress. He made a lot of progress or progress, depending on where you are from. Again, also with pronunciation, accents, and regions of where you live do affect how you pronounce. Sometimes you may hear a little bit of an accent from me. I'm trying to not have that. Handle the object carefully. Object. So the first part is where it's stressed. Did his boss object to the change? Object. Okay, and our last one. Please answer the questions on the survey. Survey. Let's survey the situation before we decide. Let's survey the situation before we decide. Okay, that is the first lesson in targeting pronunciation. Let's do a quick review. First off, we discussed that English is a melodic language. There's a melody to it. Understanding stressed and unstressed parts of a word or syllables will help you to sound more natural in the way that you speak. 90% of nouns, the first part of the word is stressed, and 60% of verbs, the second syllable is stressed. Then I wrapped everything up with lookalikes. Lookalikes are words that are spelled exactly the same, but different parts of the word is stressed. And it goes back to the tip. The nouns, the first part was stressed. The verb, the second part was stressed. Thank you for joining with me, and I am here to help you target your pronunciation. See you next time for target number 2.